Going to come off just then when the Turks got the bronze. Yeah, what a fantastic night's entertainment, and it's only going to get better now.
Well, it's time for the team huddles. Italy usually come with something pretty special. France first. Well, clearly part of their training ritual to go through the choreographed team huddle. It's the women's Italian football team always have something special.
They always have a little mini hacker, don't they?
Hacker.
Present just before the match, just to psych out the opponents. Where are you leaning with this match then, Bash?
Well, I think you have to favour the Italians with Volpi and Errigo in the lineup. I mean, you don't need to look too far down the list to find the world number 19, Favoretto, is in the lineup to start with. But when you look at the French, Thibus, world number 10, probably taking a little bit of a break after the Tokyo Olympic cycle. World number 15, Anita Blas in the lineup with Pauline Ranvier, the world number 22. So two strong teams. The tactics today from those have been slightly different from Italy. You tend to grind out their results, get a lead and then hold on to it. They've actually been motoring through their matches, whereas France have been a little bit more conservative. So I think I'd still favour Alicia Volpi here and her Italian team, but I don't want to rule France out. I think it's going to be important where we're at leg 5 and 6. What about you?
I agree. I'm edging towards the Italians, but I think we're going to see quite a close match and a pretty exciting match. So there's no bet tonight, is there, Bash?
No, not tonight, no.
Okay.
No, I think this one's
Can't afford it this time, can you?
No, you've taken everything. I've taken my entire salary for the week here at the European Championships. Well, we wait for the French to get ready. An amazing first leg. Alicia Volpi, the world number 2 at 30 years old, going up against the world number 10, Yasura Thibus from France. Start of the women's foil team gold medal match between Italy and France. We're underway. Thibus out off the mark, early doors, looking to press a little bit, but instantly finding some kind of issue. She thinks she hit then.
She has the right to test the jacket, but I can't say I saw it myself. Obviously she felt like she got something on the end of the foil, so she's testing. It seems to all work.
So women's team foil gold medal match underway, and Alicia Volpi.
And that was attack no from Thibus, and an attack good from the left. Volpi just made Thibus fall short and then returned fire. The opening match, I think it's quite a crucial match, even though it's at the very beginning. It sets the sort of tempo for the team, sets the atmosphere. It's always good to have a good opening match.
Stefano Cerioni, the returning Italian head of foil.
And past Olympic champion.
A very talented fencer in his time.
What year, Bash?
Oh, come on, Rich. This early on? You could at least let me open up Wikipedia.
1988, so.
Very good. Getting her first hit, that's Parapost as well, according to Pablo Macedo. Well, interesting there, from the outside of the blade, actually tapping the guard as well.
I get the feeling the first attack didn't land there. Was that the continuation? Maybe if we saw that again.
There you go, they're listening to you.
Oh, it was the I think the foot landed, but the hand was a continuous thrusting motion. Volpi tries to go for the shoulder. Looks good when you can do it, but quite a difficult hit to pull off.
She's one of the few women's foilists that actually can pull that one off, though.
Yeah, you're right, Bash. There's not so much flicking in the women's game. It's, I bet it does happen. And the women that can flick really do have an advantage, like Arrigo.
So Tibus has wrestled her way into the lead here, but Volpi staying cool, calm and collected. Well, he said it was important. She's come from behind Isura Tibus. Alicia Volpi has called for a video review. Do you see this one turning around?
You mean the call?
Yeah.
Well, I think the referee's going to stick to his guns. I would say the contact of the parry was too far up near to the guard. I think it's going to be attacked from the right. But we'll see.
We'll find out. Pablo Acevedo.
Exactly.
Spot on.
Yep.
So Isura Tibus gets France off to the start they would have wanted, and they lead 5 points to 3. So Rich, you saw called Cerioni for the 1988 Olympic gold.
Men's foil individual?
Yep.
Yep.
My question to you, as I block Wikipedia, was it his first Olympic gold?
I think he won one in a team, didn't he?
He did in 84.
In 84,
in Los Angeles. Yeah, and bronze in the individual foil in 84 as well.
Incredibly well decorated athlete.
Yeah. Very well known. His reputation precedes him.
Absolutely.
The French return to the piece with the lead. 5-3 up. It's Anita Blas against Ariana Errigo.
And that's a parry riposte from Anita Blas. French are opening up some kind of lead earlier on. Still early days though.
Yeah, but it's interesting that having watched the Italians and the French fencing today, the Italians very un-Italian-like in just trying to finish and polish their matches off really quickly. The French have been containing, and that's what they remain to do here, but it's slowed the Italians down a bit.
Absolutely, and it's probably quite a good way to fence the Italians. Now, Arrigo is one of the fencers that does favour the flick hit in the women's game. So hopefully we're going to see a few flicks to the back, maybe even to the chest.
Yeah, lefty against righty, those flicks to the chest are a feature. That's just forcing the distance close there a little bit, maybe tinkering on the edge of core, body to body.
She doesn't seem bothered, Bash. She's very blasé about things. Bash is not impressed.
I can say Richard Cruz is here all week, and Errigo, understanding it wasn't her attack, was it?
That wasn't her attack, that was a counter-attack. Of course, just one light, so anytime there's one light, it's obvious which way it's gone, as long as there's no infringement of the rules. Same again there, a little counter-attack.
That's just a little bit fast in her preparation.
Yeah, a little bit too fast, brought the arm back, legs went a little bit too early.
Get the feeling as well the right-hander needs to come across the body rather than go on the outside, which she does on that occasion, but this time she doesn't have the right of way. gone on the outside of Errigo. Not only is Errigo left-handed, so that side's going to be closed off, but she's much taller, so has the ability to block out not only with her sword arm, which is allowed, but also with distance.
Rigo's putting a lot of pressure on the blade there. I think that was Blas's hit, to be honest. I think Arrigo finished. Blas took up the tempo. And the right of way was with her, so I think there'll be no change here.
Well, having a good look at the video here. There's Errigo's request for a video replay. Lamada on the left, acting as the support role in these first two fights for Pablo Acevedo.
No, there's a change.
Well, that's what the replay system's for. Athletes can politely request a review. On this occasion, it worked.
Now that, I don't think it's going to stand, because I think Blas turned a little bit too far around there.
There we go.
And look, Arrigo's protesting that, demonstrating with her body what happened. Look, the back shoulder comes way too far forwards, so you can't do that. Well, if you do that, you have to lift the back arm up, don't you? So it's not obscuring the target. Well, Bash, I'll get my coat.
It'll be interesting to...
And look, Cherioni's not happy with that.
Interesting to hear how that decision was come by. But obviously, standing up there, Acevedo has a better view than we do.
Yeah, he's closer to the action than we are.
Halfway through the second leg, blade is picked up and a para riposte is called. I think Blas did possibly go for the blade, but Errigo is so strong with her defense that she gets the right of way. I mean, am I right in thinking that if the beats are similar in strength, you would always give it to the attacking fencer?
You would favour the attacking fencer, yeah. And I think the idea behind that is so that we see more attacking fencers for the audience, really, and it's a good idea. Of course, if the beats aren't equal in strength, the one who deflects the other's blade generally has the priority.
So anything more from Errigo here, and whatever happens, she's closing the gap on this one, but it looks at the moment like it's going to be more than that. Blas, though, coming out on the attack.
Now this time, I think, there was Korakor, so the referee stopped it. No hit scored.
Right, shoulder round again. Now this time the referee's coming to have a look at the video himself. Rich.
Para riposte Blast, that's where I'm putting the chips. Para riposte Blast, look, you watch the replay. Look, it's now Blas's turn to riposte, and the priority's with her.
And she's keeping her back arm out of the way this time. Oh, but then when you see it from Errigo's angle.
Yeah, it does seem to be the case that the back arm's getting involved a little bit, but I would say... Absolutely, yeah, I agree with that. I think it was Blas's turn to hit. That's the attack from the right, but it doesn't land. And Arrigo scores with a counter-attack. So 9 each. Next point wins the bout. It's only up to 10.
It's a builder, this one, isn't it? Ring up nicely. Erigo has not got this her own way here, but she has done well. She will come away with the bigger score in this individual leg.
Attack from the right. Oh, no. Well, you can see why Blass is challenging that.
Yeah, I think there's an argument here. Look, she comes up, she takes the blade with a sort of ceased coupe, I think you would call it. But does she then
Always difficult, isn't it, when they're both nibbling at the blade to see who's established it. But
does she make a second attempt? Does she make a second meeting with Erigo's blade? So
my initial gut feeling was that was the attack from the right off target. But no, it's not. And the bout's over, 10-9. Referee sticking to his guns.
So good leg for Ariana Erigo. 7 plays 4 in that encounter. So Italy wrestle the lead off the French team. And coming up next, Favoretto against Ranvier. Now this is an interesting one because you've got to think the French are going to be targeting Favoretto.
Yes, I think just like the last match we saw for the bronze medal playoff, they're probably going to be targeting this bout.
Up steps Willem Madder for refereeing duties on legs 3 and 4. Favoretto on for Italy, up against Ranvier for France. And not much in this one.
It's the attack all the way through from Favoretto. That's a parry riposte from the left, from Favoretto.
This was not in the game plan for France, was it? It looks like Ranvier is sort of pressing and instigating this, but we're only 20 seconds in. Favoretto's already scored 2.
Yes, an action-packed bout, this one. And that's the attack from the left. A very slow press.
Yeah.
Slow press, but still the attack, still keeps the priority. And there's no appeal.
And quite right as well. I mean, was that a little bit of an error of judgment there from Ranvier?
Yeah, I think she basically had to get the blade in that position, but she didn't quite manage to get it.
This could be a very good leg for...
That's an attack remise, I think. I think she was parried, but she kept the momentum going through and scored a 1 light hit. Look, the blade was found, but there's no riposte, and it didn't really deflect Ranvier from the target, so she continued on.
So 1 away from the target score of 15 in this third leg of the women's team 4 gold medal match. And that is it. And well, I say that's it. The referee is coming out with a card here. And it is for Ranvier ducking her head. So has that effectively annulled the hit? Now, why would Italy not get that hit? Maybe he called halt before the final action? This could be a very big leg for the Italians.
It's a lovely parry there. And look, Ranvier's just... And I saw her complaining about the mask coming down, the arm coming forwards.
And the side assistant referee put his hand up as well. The Portuguese... Oh, that's not the Portuguese Chado. Chado's down the other end. It's definitely not Jani either.
And that finishes the bout, 15-10. That will be the attack from the left. And Italy is starting to open up. Fairly decent lead here.
Yeah, 5-1 there for Favoretto, and that will settle her nerves. Palumbo has fenced. She's sitting on the bench for this one for the Italians, but they brought Martina Favoretto on. The Italian coach Cipressa happy to put her out for this leg, but a +4 indicator will settle any nerves she had. And I wonder if the French coach is already thinking
sorry
about
to
this.
jump in there, Bash.
Go for it.
A card. If a card was to come out at this moment, I take it you couldn't go to 16 in this bout.
No,
you?
no, you couldn't. No.
So even if a hit scored and a card comes out, they can't go over the limit of 15.
My understanding of it is that if they're in that situation and a card does come out, it's either the hit that scores first to get you to the target score so that the infringement makes no difference, or the infringement annuls the hit. That's how I understand things.
I think
here.
you're right, because I've never seen it go over the marker.
No. And we go into leg number 4. Alicia Volpi back on. And she goes up against Anita Blas of France, and Italy will perhaps be looking at this middle 3 legs as a moment to break the back of the gold medal match.
It's quite an aggressive opening there from Blas. But lands off target. And again, Blas is taking the match to Volpi. Attack goes through. And she makes a little bit of headway here. This bounce up to 20, 4th bout. And from that angle, it looks like... Now, I thought that was the Italians, but maybe there was a slight beat on the blade. Of course, we were looking at it from a slightly skewed angle.
Still the attack from the left-hand side here.
Oh, and that's a fantastic counter parry riposte there from the right. Beautiful. Parry riposte was in itself parried, and then the counter parry riposte came through. And lovely little exchange there.
Oh, plus giving Volpi something to think about here.
Absolutely, Bash. Looking at these first 4 bouts, I get the feeling this could go all the way.
Yeah, it does look that way. Dennis Durant, the French coach, looking on with intent, happy with Blas's performance against the world number 2.
And parry riposte.
Picks up the blade.
Parry riposte to level the score at 15 all. All to play for.
Volpi just continued with her attack there, even though it was very clear. Parry riposte. Get your opponent's blade when they attack. You nick the right of way.
Oh, now look at that. Lovely little feint disengage all the way through. Attack from the French fencer. Beautiful fencing.
Stefano Cerioni.
Oh.
Arms out wide saying, come on, Alice, where are you?
The 15-10 hit lead has evaporated. And now the French are in the driving seat.
what point will the French, sorry, what point will the Italians, and particularly in this leg, Alicia Volpi turn on the afterburners? Because we've still got 2 minutes, 15 seconds to go. If this carries on, Blas is going to get to the target score of 20.
Attack off target there, attack off target. Yeah, you're right, Bash. It's been an action-packed fourth bout. And just think, if this was a good leg from Volpi, this could really have demoralised the French team.
As I said, these middle three were an opportunity potentially for the Italians to break this one. Blas taking a little hit to the non-sword hand. And you'll see it just coming through. Just clipping with the point. That was smart. Should be fine. But that was smart a little bit.
You do sometimes get some cuts on the back arm or the back hand, because it's not covered. Occasionally you see a fencer wear a glove on the backhand, but it's quite rare.
It is rare, isn't it?
In our local fencing club, we used to have a violinist that used to wear a glove on the backhand because she was professional and liked her fencing, but obviously didn't want to cause any injuries that would stop her from playing the violin. But that's a little bit exposed. I mean, it's very rare that it happens, but it is an exposed bit of skin on the body.
You are allowed to give a shout out to your local club. What is your club called?
You're not going to get me fired, are you?
No, of course not. You can't be fired, no one's paying you.
Well, that's true. I work in Southall Fencing Club in North London.
Famous Paul family, based in London. Equipment manufacturers as well. Sponsors, in fact, of this competition.
Sponsors of the French team, although I think Blas isn't wearing their kit right now.
Well,
Beautiful
Volpi
parry. Parry and post, close quarters.
almost looks like Volpi's now provoking Blas on so she can work on her defence, drawing her into the attack, and then quite happy to work in close quarters. Been a good performance from Blas, though. 6 points in a leg is always a good leg. She's got time to go for more as well. And there were 2 meetings of the blade, the final one from the Italian. Blas looking to change her weapon now. Reset again, or genuine?
You never know, do you?
Yeah.
You never know, but it's quite suspicious. After they lose a few hits on the trot, it's always a good bit of advice to change something, just to take a little break. I can't believe this bout isn't even halfway through, Bash.
No, I know, it's incredible. It's I think it's
action-packed.
the start from Blas was so electric that it's forced Volpi into thinking this one through a little bit more. The French are buoyant here. Coach and team up in the box, bouncing up and down.
Now, I would say that's Volpi's. I think she was just a little bit ahead with the hand in tempo. They're going to the video to have a review.
Well, that's what the referee called it. He called it for Volpi.
Yeah, look at the hand. The hand just shoots out in front, so she's won a bit of fencing time.
Yeah,
if I was refereeing, I would give that attack left, I think.
And he has, and Blas has called for a review. Vanamada back out already. The memo shows, which is the same thing, same decision, sticking with what he said in the first place. And Volpi 1 away from the target score of 20. But even if she was to get there without Blas scoring another hit, it has been a good leg for the French. The Italians, though, leading 20-16 after 4 legs.
It's a good recovery from Favoretto. So they retain the lead. The lead diminished a fraction, but there's still 4 hits up here, so they're in control of the match.
Well, believe it or not, the world number 2, Alicia Volpi, has had 2 fights, and she comes out of those with a -3 indicator, which means that she's had 3 more hits scored against her than she's scored herself. Blas, in contrast, turns her -3 into a -2. So you're always looking for a 0 means that you've had no net gain, no net loss. Your indicator, a plus figure is what you're looking for. On comes Martina Favoretto for Italy up against Isura Tibus for France. And this again is another of the matches that France will be targeting for a big score turnaround.
Oh, a lovely pressing attack there by Favoretto. Straight to the chest. absolutely clean. Attack from the left. Favoretto just edges forwards. And Tibus has sent the referees for a video review there, but I'm afraid to say I think I agree with the initial call.
I do as well. I think there is some... Does she look for the blade, or is she just setting up ready to go for the attack? I can see why she's called it, but I agree with you. I think it's Favoretto's.
The referee sticks to his decision. And the trouble is now, if you use your video that early... Oh, lovely attack on preparation. I was going to say, if you use your video a little bit recklessly, you obviously only have one failed appeal. If you get them right, you can keep appealing, but if you lose your video early, then you may need it later on, and it won't be there for you.
Rogue off-target light coming up there, which is why the referee called halt. Yeah, the tactical use of video is critical. Oh. Now, if Favoretto had hit there, I think that would have been hers.
Quite possibly.
Watching the women's team foil gold medal match at the 2022 European Fencing Championships in Antalya, Turkey, the first edition of the Continental Championships for 3 years.
And that's an attack from the left. Favoretto comes through. And don't forget, this bout is actually up to 30. Or is it?
No,
was
it's
it 25?
25.
Sorry, it's the 5th bout. So we're 2 away from the end of this bout. And that's a beautiful attack. Look how long that attack is. Favoretto 1 away now. And the Italians are starting to open up quite a commanding lead.
And this you have to say, this isn't what the French wanted, not in terms of just the scoreline, but this fight in particular. We've got a 4-1 lead for Favoretto in this particular leg, and Tibus would have been sent out to go after Favoretto.
Absolutely. And this has probably changed the momentum a fraction for the French team here. Tibus needs to be a bit more aggressive, which he's being.
Errigo warming up in the background on the left-hand side of the piste. She is getting ready for the next match, and a card coming out for Tibus. And even she's surprised about that one, Richard.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure. What do you think it was? Turning?
I think yeah, back arm coming across, perhaps.
Did it come around a little bit too much? Of course, the back arm mustn't be involved in play.
Obscures the valid target area. Counter riposte, no, second counter riposte.
Absolutely beautiful, beautiful action by Favoretto. Of course, I was going to say the back arm can be used for balance.
Yep.
The back arm isn't just...
It's not redundant.
It's not redundant, but it can't be involved in the actual fencing. So you use it for balance when you lunge, you propel yourself, you then use it to recover afterwards. But it mustn't touch the foil, yours or your opponent's.
Well, do you know what? We look at this match, and Favoretto, arguably, well, certainly on paper, the weakest member of the Italian team, come through 2 fights with a +8 indicator. She has outscored her opponents, and Cerioni may have played a masterstroke here, bringing on Favoretto from Palumbo for this gold medal match. But we turn our attention to leg number 6. Errigo for Italy, Ranvier for France. Italy leading by 8 points. Talk about targeting your opponent. The Italians will definitely be thinking about Ranvier as a place where they can get multiple hits. But of course, because they lead, they can only score 5. Target score of 30 in the 6th leg.
Oh, that's a lovely prime riposte there. Close
Second
quarters.
intention?
I don't think it was. I think she went for the first one, and then she had to think on her feet, and close quarters, prime riposte. That's the parry that sweeps right across the body, covers everything.
Yeah, hand held high, and the riposte coming in from, not necessarily above the head, but from from high to low. There we go. It didn't work on that occasion. Nice hit for a left-hander against the right-hander to go underneath the cart parry, right?
Absolutely. Post there is off target from Arrigo. That's it, scored. And Arrigo found the blade as Rambier came forwards and had the right to make the riposte. Doesn't matter that there are two lights. Point to Arrigo.
Septime again. Low line parry from the Italian, but stepping in and closing the distance way too fast without the point being fixed on the target.
I think she went up on her stance a little bit there, came a little bit too close, a bit too casual, and that's why she was caught with a counter-attack.
I'll let you call Ariana Arrigo casual. I daren't say that because she's staying in the same hotel as me. You know what, Rich? They do listen to this.
Oh, do they? And they are 7 hits up. I'm not sure they're going to mind.
Again, we're getting a tic-tac on the blade.
Now, is he going to call that in preparation? No, he calls it attack off target.
Very sneaky, the Italians, and they start their attack. They could slow it down in the middle without actually stopping.
That's
luring
right.
out the counter-attack.
That's a real skill to do, to make sure you're not stopping, but it's a constant press forwards, and you almost invite the counter-attack.
Provoking, yeah, to try and tease your opponent into making a mistake. Get great command of your feet, and that independence between the feet and the arm as well. Go teasing Rambier, but again, finding she's on the attack, she's stepping in. That final step before going for the attack is very fast. Got control of this one. Picks up the blade.
Post is off target from the left. No hit scored, and of course the fences don't go back. They're going to stay in the place where they finished that phrase in the piece, so down the end of Pauline Rambier.
Close.
And this match is not dissimilar to the previous bronze medal match, is it, Karim? We saw a 10-hit lead open up in about this sort of stage in the match. So France really have to respond to this.
Yes, the middle three again. First 3 legs about trying to establish some kind of lead, even if it's by a single point.
Now that last hit, I liked. They both went to Prime, but Arrigo's was first and managed to close out Rambier's Prime. They both go to Prime, but Arrigo's on the inside.
Yeah.
So she hits and blocks. Very skillful hit.
Those first 3 legs are all about trying to get a lead, even if it's by 1 point, and then if you've got it, it's about trying to extend it. And if you haven't, it's about trying to recover. The Italians, though, have taken a lead through the first 3. They had a 5-point lead at the start of this middle third.
And a wry smile from Arrigo there, because she knows she's done a nice little duck. It's always good to pull out a duck, as long as you don't overuse them. It can be quite unexpected.
Rambier on a -6 indicator at this point. She's given away 6 more hits than she's scored. There we go on +5 as we go to the 7th leg, the beginning of the final third, and it is Favoretto coming up against Blas. Now, will the French be thinking about a substitute and Soline Boutriel coming on, perhaps for Pauline Rambier?
It's always a gamble. Let's see how they play it. Bash, I think the French are really targeting this leg to make some headway.
Yeah, but we know what Favoretto's done through her first 2 legs. She's scored 8 more hits than her opponents have scored against her, and she has been on fire, and perhaps, I think, the most aggressive of the 3 Italians.
I think you could be right, but also Blas has been coming out all guns. Well, I was going to say all guns blazing there, but you're not going to let me say that.
Actually, no, I'm fine with that, because I think you said it accidentally. You weren't trying to force some comedy into this commentary. No. Yeah, but the difference is that Favoretto has been the most aggressive and gone +6, +8.
Oh, lovely attack on preparation. I was going to say the last hit was a counter-attack from Favoretto. You notice how, even though she went down with the head, she kept it level, and that was very skillful and cleverly done, because you can't be carded for that.
Yeah, chin up basically. As long as your head goes down, your chin remains the same distance from your torso, then you should be all right. And Blas, I think, was going to call for a video then, but I'm not quite sure why.
I think she thinks she went for the blade, but she chickened out of the video call. As I said, if you use it too recklessly, you may regret that because you'll need it for later. And that's attack from the left, I think. So, like you said, Favoretto is the top scorer here from the Italian team, which we didn't expect before the match.
No, we definitely didn't. We definitely saw it. But I think it's a masterstroke for Cerioni, who we just got a brief glimpse of. The Italian coach looking on.
And look, again, you notice how skillfully she goes down with the mask. Keeps it perfectly level, perfectly legal.
Not quite ready.
And that's the attack from, I was going to say from the left, but preparation's been given, but Blas is challenging that. I get the feeling she may have started. Of course, the hand went earlier from the left, so it'd be interesting to see whether they overturn this. There's always a grey area, sabre and foil.
More going for Favoretto here.
Yep, he's stuck to his guns, given preparation.
Hand still going backwards as Favoretto starts to launch a hand, and it's being so much more tight on attacks into preparation now. If you can catch someone,
and I think that's a good thing, isn't it?
Oh, perfect! It's brilliant for the sport. Absolutely brilliant for the sport. Makes it more aggressive. Makes it more. Oh, and that's a great
counter attack.
So, unanswered 5 points for Italy, and well, Martina Favoretto has as much reason to celebrate a gold medal here should Italy go on to win, because she has come away from this gold medal match with a +13 indicator. In her 3 fights, she's outscored her opponents by 13 hits.
+13 is massive, and to do it in a final of the European Championships is incredible. Bash, I've just thought, I haven't taught you your Turkish word today, and we're running out of time, aren't we?
Right, well, wait a second.
Okay.
Let me just say, Alicia Volpi's going against Pauline Ranvier, Italy versus France in the gold medal match. Go on then, Rich.
Do all that stuff. Right, your Turkish word today is gökyüzü. You going to say it?
Gökyüzü.
Gökyüzü. And it means sky. And I imagine that's where the Turkish sabre team are now, in the sky, in the clouds.
Very good, Rich.
With their bronze medal.
Fantastic
for the sport, isn't it, to have new countries like that break in, especially on home turf.
Exactly.
Home crowd.
Couldn't have put it better myself. Gökyüzü.
It's also the name of my local takeaway. That's how I know it.
Is it any good?
It's all right, but Durum down the road is also it's worth it. They do a good mixed grill.
So you live in the Turkish quarter of London.
Oh, look. That's an attack on preparation there by Volpi.
They're just pulling away from this. We thought that perhaps the French might make a substitute in this penultimate leg, but they've stuck with Pauline Ranvier. Maybe tactical, maybe that Boutriel, who went far and deep into the individual, isn't quite up to it today. But it's clear
Yeah, there's daylight between them now. I think
Yeah.
the Italians are running away with this.
There's clear Gurkisku between them.
You mean Gökyüzü?
Clearly I do. Italy have ground this one out, as we're so used to seeing from them. Ooh, now, Volpi not happy with that one, but electing to bank her video appeal, and that, I think that was a good idea, because they both went for the blade in the middle. Still sticking to her guns, but Volpi is
lovely acceleration there from the
control.
hand. I'm pleased for the Italians. I would have hoped for a slightly tighter match, but I think the match was killed off in the middle. The French just let this one go, and challenging the last hit in desperation there, but I think it's going to be 40-21.
Yeah, I agree with you. Villamala goes to have a look at the video here. Italy have scored just 5 hits in the last 4. Sorry, France have only scored 5 hits in the last 4 fights, and that really has broken the back of it. Volpi finishing on a +1 indicator, but has done her work here. Pauline Ronvier, well, she finishes on -10 after Blas finishes on -7, and that's why there is such a big gulf between these two teams. Up next for the anchor leg, Ariane Errigo is sent on to try and finish the job off with a 19-point lead. Isra Tibus comes onto the piste, having had a struggle through this gold medal match. Rich, you might well have been in this position before. Coming on for the last leg with such a gulf, what goes through your mind?
I think you have to accept the match is, it's not possible to recover the match from this moment. Just go out there, enjoy it, show some good fencing, make some pluses, take the moral victory, win your last bout. But to recover the match from 19-hit deficit in 3 minutes, yeah. I think that's it's not possible.
Yeah, and Errigo getting the first point of the final leg here. Italy, well, they're basically seeing this one out. They're not going to be relaxed. They're not going to be too lazy and just think this is done. They will see it through. They will be professional. They won't take any risks. They don't need to.
Absolutely. No point taking risks. And nice little exchange there. Tibus comes out with one light. Almost parried the wrist.
Teasing and toying. Staying very composed, but keeping nice and loose. Just waiting for an error or a moment to launch in with the attack on preparation. Off target on this occasion. He looks pretty chilled out, doesn't he?
I think he knows the gold medal's in the bag. But now it's just a formality, really.
Bad first European Championship for Stefano Cerioni. 3 out of the 4 medals in the men's individual. Foil. Team gold for Italy. As well as a couple of medals for the Italians in the women's individual foil. Didn't get the gold. That went to Leonie Ebert of Germany in the women's individual foil. Moment in history for the Germans.
Just came together there, but one light to Tibus. Just wedged out her opponent.
minute down though, 19 hits to recover. She's only got back 3 of them, well in fact 2 of them, because Ergo scored 1 as well, and make that 2. Tough, it's a tough last leg if you're French. Well, that hand-eye coordination to thread the
needle.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it?
That's exactly what it is. Incredibly delicate, very small target as well. And again, just round the back, just doesn't flick but plonks it on the shoulder.
It's the beat that gives Ergo the right of way. So even though T-Bush dived in, it was a counter action. She didn't have the right of way, so Ergo scores. There's no point for the French.
Oh, lovely little cart riposte there. Here's the parry and then the riposte to chest. And then scores with a 1 light action.
First attack is blocked out by Sorotibus. She's only able to hit off target, so the match is reset from where that hit was scored.
That's a lovely counter riposte. And did that finish up on the back as well?
Yeah, that looked like second intention to me. She stops, she's lured out, so look here, here's my target, come and hit it. And then over the top. 1 away from European gold for Italy's women's foil team here in Antalya. Waiting patiently for the moment, pin to the back line, the attack comes through off target.
I think T-Bush should keep the pressure on here.
Got a pin to that back line, she can't cross over the blue area, Ergo, otherwise she's out of the piste. She going for something special, perhaps, on the back line, Ergo.
Jump flicks the shoulder or something like that?
Yeah, finish with a circus move. She comes over with the attack. On the attack, comes around the back, and Ariana Ergo has anchored the Italians to a dominant win here. The video has been requested by Sorotibus, but I can't see this one changing. They are having a good look at it here. We wait in anticipation. I think T-Bush knows this is going to go. We have a look at the replay here. It comes in, the attack comes in from the right, but I think it's already too late. And Villamada comes back to the middle, asks the fencers to put their masks back on. That is the protocol and etiquette in fencing. So we're all ready now for what we think is going to be the final decision. T-Bush mask on. And it is attack touche. Italy are the women's team foil European champions of 2022. Well, no wonder they're celebrating, Richard. What a match from them. They played it beautifully tactically.
Absolutely. 45-25. It's, I mean, there's real daylight in between those scores. I didn't see that coming, to be honest. It looked like it was neck and neck up until the 3rd, 4th bout, and then all of a